Editing me here, couple things that are really bothering me. Number one, I know that my wig is sitting too far back on my head for the entire video and it's bothering me so much to edit. And number two, I don't know what's going on with my left lash, but it is driving me insane. So I apologize in advance for both of those. It bothers me so much, I can imagine how much it's going to bother you. So just a heads up. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you're new, welcome. My name is Laura. I'm a self-taught makeup enthusiast who just turned 30. Yeah, it's my birthday. I don't know if I'm going to be posting this like on my actual birthday or a couple days after, but yeah, I just thought I would post a video kind of about my state of mind and thoughts about turning 30 and going into a new decade and things that I've learned. So it's going to be like partly kind of like a bit of a downer and partly kind of more upbeat and hopeful towards the future. So I guess if you want to see that, then please keep on watching. Ignore my makeup today. I was actually doing a cosplay test earlier because yeah, that's a thing that I want to get into this year. And yeah, look a little weird. Hold on. And then I was doing a steampunk look, so maybe it'll be better with glasses. No, it won't. It won't be better with goggles on. I don't know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to keep things like this and just ignore my eyebrows. Okay, so I don't normally make videos like this in general. I feel like once in a while when like things get to a breaking point, then maybe I'll make a video like this. And I figured, yeah, I'm 30. Feels weird to say. I feel old, especially, I don't know, a lot of people I follow are a lot younger than me, which sounds really weird to say it that way, but whatever. There are a lot of talented creators who are, you know, a couple years younger than me, several years younger than me, and I guess that's sort of partly what the point of this video is. I've got notes on my computer just because I have a lot of things that I want to say, and I don't even know if I'm going to end up posting this, but there's a lot going on right now, and I guess I have a lot of thoughts and I just kind of want to put them out there. So I figured here's as good a place as any to discuss that. So I'm kind of going to divide this video into two parts. I've got the first part, which is going to be kind of more doom and gloom and kind of the state of where I am right now, and possibly also just the state of my channel and discussions about that. And then the second part, which is going to probably end up being most of this video, is a more positive outlook and positive thoughts about going into my 30th year of life and just things that I've learned in 30 years. So if you don't want doom and gloom, I'll put a timestamp somewhere and you can skip ahead to that. Otherwise, if you are so kind and want to listen, then I'll just go ahead. I guess just like it's a big birthday in general, so it just kind of has me reflecting on my life, and I'm not where I want to be in life. COVID literally, just the pandemic literally ruined a lot of my plans and goals in life and my career. It derailed my life a bit, like many people. And like, I'm not special. Like I don't deserve special treatment. I am very privileged. I'll acknowledge that. Okay, let me put it this way. Despite my privilege, like there are still things that, you know, COVID has affected everyone. The pandemic has fucked up everything and everyone's affected. So yeah, it fucking sucks. I don't super feel comfortable sharing too many details, I guess, of like how COVID specifically, you know, messed things up for me, which is another thing which hopefully I'll be able to talk about some of those things in the future. Like everything's fine. I don't know who watches my videos, and I don't want certain bits of information to be out in the world or in public right now, I guess, which is stupid, but yeah, so I guess I just have to like censor myself, which is kind of stupid. And the whole point of this video is like, I want to get all these things off my chest and I feel like I can't talk about certain things, and it's just very frustrating. Basically, the pandemic I was sort of on a trajectory one way, and then the pandemic just completely messed that up, and it's very frustrating, and I don't know when no one knows when things will go back to quote unquote normal. So like everyone else, I'm just kind of adjusting to the now, and sort of we've accepted that things have been put on hold. So instead of waiting, I guess you kind of do what you can right now, because this has been going on for like almost 3 years that we've lost. Oh my God, there's a guy like just revving his engine outside, and it's just really pissing me off. He does this all the time. Yeah, like we've lost basically almost 3 years of our life being able to do regular things. So I guess we've sort of gotten to the point where you do what you can with the circumstances you have. But yeah, it's just frustrating losing that time and being unable to do the things that you wanted to do or that you had planned to do in that time. For me, for example, I've always wanted to travel. I've always wanted to see the world. And there was always something in the way of me being able to like do that. So like I've been waiting until like, okay, after I graduate high school, and then after I graduate university, and then after I get a job and start making money, and then after getting married and, saving up some money, and then just having the time to travel. My husband Ari and I had so many plans to go to so many different places, and it's already hard enough when we're both religious Jews, so we have a lot of dietary restrictions because we keep kosher, so that kind of limits us in where we can travel or like the activities that we can do while we're traveling. And when you travel to a new place, you want to try the food, and certain places are easier to keep kosher than others, and it's already difficult enough. But we were like, okay, we'll make it work, we'll figure it out, and we can't even do that. And even just things like right now, a lot of companies are having their employees work from home or do like a hybrid schedule, and it would be honestly awesome if we could like we would love to go to Japan for like a month or like 2 months or like something like that. Like no workplace is going to allow you to take like 2 months off, like just because. I mean, I'm sure there are some out there, but it's very rare to find that. So like even if we could like work remotely, but a lot of places, once things go back to normal, they're going to go back to a regular like 9 to 5 in the office schedule. And it's like, I don't know, like hybrid work has benefited a lot of people, and it's frustrating that a lot of companies probably still have that very old school, antiquated, outdated mindset where it's just like, nope, you have to be in the office. And it's like, well, if you're getting the work done at home, like, why does it matter? Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent, but yeah, I've always wanted to travel, and I'm just pissed off that like, I'm getting older. I'm not that old, but like I'm getting older, and I don't even know if I'm ever going to be able to travel. I guess similarly on that note, this isn't even in my notes, but like on the note of just, having time and money to do things, more so money, like I want to buy a house, and I live in probably one of the most expensive cities in Canada. I live in Toronto, and our real estate market is fucking bananas. And we were actually close to be able to buy a townhouse like around this time last year. We were looking, and a bit before, and we were just priced out of the market. In other cities, mostly outside of North America, but some cities in North America, but it's more common, or most people live in like apartments or condos or whatever. When I was growing up, I guess it wasn't like the expectation, but it was sort of like I grew up in the suburbs, lots and lots of houses, sort of growing up with the expectation that like, okay, well, like once I save up a bit of money, I'll be able to buy a house. That's just kind of like how things were. Not that everyone owned a home, but it's definitely more common than like places in Europe or, even like places like New York. Yeah, in the suburbs, and then also like just kind of the more rural that you get, people own houses, people live in houses. And now just the cost of living is ridiculous. We have like luxury condos everywhere. No one needs a luxury condo. Like, people need affordable housing, and it's just frustrating because the real estate market is out of control. And like, I don't even know if we're going to be able to own a home. I don't want to buy a condo because the new ones that are being built are so small and so expensive. I don't care about the amenities. I don't care what the lobby looks like. Like, you go into some of these newer condo buildings, the lobbies are like beautiful with marble and gold, and like it's just so opulent. And then you walk into the units and they're like closet size. There is no space for anything. The kitchen also doubles as like the living room, dining room, family room. Like, it's ridiculous. Maybe you also have a balcony, so that contributes to your like 600 square feet or whatever that's going for like, I don't know, $1 million. And it's just, the real estate market is out of control, and it's very disheartening and frustrating and upsetting. And I want to move out of the city, but there isn't really anywhere I can go. And because again, like, pretty much the Jewish community is in Toronto and a few other cities, but Toronto has the biggest Jewish community, the most variety of kosher food and other Jewish like stuff, like community things. And I don't want to move. I want to stay here, but it's so expensive. So it's just very frustrating. I'm frustrated also that my career just isn't where I wanted it to be at this age. I had a really good, okay, I'm gonna like talk a little bit about personal stuff, but I had a really good, like, what I'd call like a foundational job. So basically like a bit more than an entry-level job, but really like a good foot in the door for my industry. I was let go because they basically panicked a month into the pandemic and just let go of a whole bunch of people, and I was one of those lucky people who was let go. It really set back my career development. It took a huge toll on my self-esteem. It just made me think like, I'm not good enough, and now I don't have enough experience to get into the places that I want to work, and I can't get a lot of the types of experience that I want because of COVID, and it's a whole like cycle. Everything with the pandemic has really done a number on my self-esteem, and it just really makes me doubt myself, doubt my abilities, wonder if I'll ever be able to accomplish the things that I want to, because I just constantly feel like I'm not good enough. I'm not where I want to be, and I don't know how to get to where I want to be, and I'm just tired, and there's a lot on my mind, and I'm just burned out, and I guess I kind of feel like a bit of a failure. Jumping off that point, I'm frustrated at my, I guess like social media performance, because I was thinking like maybe, like right now, all of the social media stuff is a hobby. It's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy creating content. I really do enjoy editing content. I really enjoy editing videos, actually. It would be nice if I can turn this into a side gig, and I'm just frustrated because I have been working on my YouTube channel for 4 years now. It'll be 4 years in February, I think. And I'm just frustrated because my reach is so small. I've been doing YouTube for 4 years. I've been doing Instagram for longer. Can't remember how long. And I'm frustrated also that it's hard for me to stay on top of trends. And by trends, I mean like video trends, like TikTok trends, like that kind of stuff. Like I don't have time to create the content as people are talking about it, like the second people are talking about it. TikTok especially, like I don't have time to get videos out fast enough because I have a fucking full-time job because I'm an adult. And it's just like, I know social media is so like, not a big deal in life. And I know a lot of people want to become influencers or, content creators in some capacity. So like, why am I special? but I see other people creating less, what do I want to say? Less like thoughtful content. And like, I'm not bashing their content, but it's like, you know, I put together different outfits and go to different locations and try and switch up my material so it's like visually interesting, so it's not just like 100 selfies in front of the same wall, basically doing the same face, same look all the time. And yet they've got like tens of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers even, and I'm at like 1,450 maybe on Instagram and about 570 or so here. Which I appreciate all of my followers, I really do, especially the people who keep coming back and commenting. That really means the world to me and just sort of gives me the confidence that, like, you know, maybe I am good at this, maybe I am interesting to watch. So I really do appreciate it. It's just frustrating because I do put in a lot of time, and it's like putting in a lot of time doesn't necessarily mean that your content is good or that it deserves to be boosted, and sometimes popular content isn't necessarily good, but I guess it's frustrating that I put in so much time and effort and don't see a lot of payoff. And like, I really would like to be making money, and these platforms, like, they know what they're doing. They make it really difficult to be able to make a career out of social media. But it's just like that would be really cool to do something like that, to be a content creator. I know it's definitely not easy. Even if I could do it like part-time, I think that would be really fun. It's just nice to be rewarded for the hard work that you put into something. And it's just like, I want to know like when is it my time to win? Like when is it my time to finally get recognition for the hard work that I put into my work? Like I've always been hardworking. I've always like, you know, worked my ass off. Like when I was in school, I like basically like destroyed my entire social life. Like I didn't have a social life in university so that I could get good grades. Like when I want something, I go for it. But I just feel like it never really pays off. Like it's like, you know, I'll work really hard in school, but I won't get like the top grades, or I won't get, you know, the big scholarship or whatever it is. I guess I'm very like prize motivated. Yeah, and even just like the way people look at social media content creators, like it's just like, I work so hard. I'm not even considered a small influencer. I'm like, I think a nano influencer, maybe even smaller than that. Especially like platforms like Instagram, like their fucking algorithm makes it so hard for people to just find you. Even people who are already following you, they make it so hard to just get your content seen. And it's just like, why do you do that? So anyways, long story short, if you like my content and you're still watching, please comment. And like, not just on this video, on any video that you watch, just please comment. Let me know that you're interested in my content. I don't really have too much insight into my full audience. Like for some reason, YouTube used to make it possible to scroll through and actually see all of your subscribers. I don't know if you're able to do that anymore. So yeah, if you keep coming back to watch my content, like, let me know, because I can't see that. I can see the number of views, I can see the number of likes and dislikes, but other than that, I don't know who's watching. If you can just kind of interact on my videos and also just let me know that you're watching, that would be really cool. I keep trying to pivot in different directions. I keep trying to see like, you know, what performs better. So this year I've got a couple different like directions that I'm gonna try and take my content and see if that performs better, because no one really cares about makeup content anymore. So I'm gonna try and, you know, work on some other things and see if maybe people are more interested in that. But yeah, it's just frustrating because it feels like no one cares what I'm posting, and I'm working really, really hard, and it's still something that I'm gonna do. It's still something that I enjoy. It's still my hobby, but it's nice to get that sort of reward and feedback from people and just that positive reinforcement that yes, you're doing something that people enjoy. That's always nice to have. It feels like my posts aren't being seen, and I don't know if that's because people aren't interested or because the social media platforms that I'm on aren't boosting my posts. So it's very hard to get my content seen by people. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. That's basically where I am right now. just a lot of frustration, a lot of just feeling stuck where I am, not knowing how I can get better and get to where I want to be in life. Yeah, just kind of feeling, I guess, a little trapped and just sort of helpless as far as like changing my circumstances to be able to grow, to achieve the things that I want to do. Like I feel stuck because I can't seem to achieve the goals that I want to in life. And it felt like I was sort of on track to do that before the pandemic, and then just everything went out the window. So yeah, that's where I am right now. Okay, I don't really have a good segue into the more positive part of this video, but here we are. After getting all that off my chest, let's talk about something a little bit more positive and end on a high note, I hope. So I guess I'm going to talk about 30 things that I've learned in 30 years, because I feel like I've learned quite a bit. I've met a lot of people, been in a lot of different places, not like around the world necessarily, but just sort of, you know, different schools, different environments, different whatever. Yeah, so I guess I'll just read my notes. So number 1, don't waste your time worrying about how other people see you. If you want to express yourself in a certain way but are afraid to do it, just do it. You're going to regret it later if you don't, so just go for it. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, but eventually you'll feel confident, you know, being on camera looking like this. I've always been very self-conscious, I think, and always just wanted to fit in, which is probably a lot to do with me always being the new kid in school, because I moved around quite a bit. Also just being a little quirky compared to the rest of my family. I guess I've always been sort of like artsy and dramatic. Never super felt confident expressing that until much more recently, but I'm much happier being able to just dress up the way that I want to dress up and have fun. What do I want to say? If you want to express yourself in a certain way, dress the way that you want, which I think I talk about more later. I can't remember. I wrote this a bit ago. If you're in a safe environment to do so, definitely go ahead, start experimenting, and yeah, just try things out. You are probably going to feel stupid at the beginning or feel self-conscious, but you know, just try things out, see what is comfortable, and do you. Number 2, it's never too late to follow your dreams. Pick up a new skill, learn that new language, try out that cosplay, whatever it is, just go for it, because life is honestly too short, and again, you're going to regret it. So, you know, it's like kind of corny, but like each day is a new day, so like you have endless opportunities, but just don't waste the ones that you have, and I don't know, try things out, just go for it. These are all sort of like leading from each other. Number 3, you don't have to wait until things are perfect to share them with the world. This is a big one. Show us your work in progress. Nothing has to be perfect or 100% true to reference. It can still be that thing, just with your own spin on it. This is kind of more cosplay specific. I used to be very overwhelmed with cosplay. I don't know, there are a lot of people with the opinion that like you can't cosplay something unless it's like 100% true to the character, or even there are a lot of people who are interested in cosplay but nervous to start, or at least like nervous to post their stuff online or go to a convention dressed up because they're not at the level that they want to be. But if you have that attitude, you're never going to be at the level that you want to be. So in order to get to that level, like you have to try, you have to take that first step, and you might mess up. And I know that's what's holding a lot of people back, but you really can't let that hold you back, because you're never going to get anywhere. You're just going to be stuck in that place. So really, like, you just have to try. And there's probably a lot of fear that other people are going to make fun of them or laugh at them or whatever because they're not at that level. But honestly, most people probably won't care. And especially if you mention that you're, you know, just starting out, or you're trying, you're working on it, people are probably going to be very supportive of that. I feel like especially now in the cosplay community, it's gotten a lot more common to post, you know, like work in progress shots or cosplay like test of a character a lot of social media, you have filters that perfect your skin to ridiculous amounts, and we're starting to see more real content. Anything from makeup-free looks to just like, I had a bad day. Here's a selfie after I just had a panic attack. Like real content. So I'm not saying like, show yourself having a panic attack after you like tried out a costume and it didn't work, but there's no such thing as perfection. So it's never going to be perfect. And I guess lower your standards, because even the best cosplayers started somewhere. And their first cosplays, they definitely didn't look the way that they do today. So everyone has to start somewhere. And it's just about practice. Okay, I'm like losing my voice and I'm only on number 4. So I'm going to try and rush through this. Number 4, make time for the things and people that you love. Life is short. So go after your dreams, but make sure you don't forget the people who love and support you. Number 5, it sucks to always be the new kid. At school, work, wherever. So try and connect with people. Otherwise, you'll be very lonely. And just try and build that support system. And then sort of leading from that, number 6, find your people, your community, and don't take them for granted. Not everyone will get you, and that's okay. You might have different friends in different groups or people with different interests, and that's okay. Also, major one, not every friend will be a good listener, but make sure you do have those people that you can talk to and depend on when you need it. Number 7, it's a lot easier to take that first step when you have someone who believes in you. So make sure that you find those people. These are all like sort of like the same point, but like A, B, C, D. But anyways. Ooh, number 8. It's normal to lose touch with childhood friends as your lives and interests change. Try to find and build your community of like-minded people. Again, you're going to change and evolve over life, and that's totally normal. Just make sure that you've always got your community, which your community might change over time as your interests evolve, and that's okay. Number 9, don't compare yourself to other people. I feel like a lot of these I have to remind myself, especially that one. Everyone is struggling with something. Something that might come easy to you might be super hard for someone else. Everyone's lives look perfect on social media, but that's rarely the case. Your progress shouldn't be measured against someone else's. Like literally, go back to what I was saying before about social media and being frustrated that I don't have enough followers or whatever. It's true. It's true, but it's still frustrating. This one also, number 10. It's okay to ask for help, and you're not weak or incompetent for doing so. Side note, I don't even know if I'm going to include any of this. I actually just started therapy about a month ago, and this is a major thing that we're dealing with because I hate asking for help. I've never liked doing it, and it's something I need to work on for sure. Okay, number 11. This is something I've actually gotten pretty good at. If the opportunities aren't there for you, make them for yourself. Easier said than done, and also kind of depends on your situation. But for me specifically, I'm a graphic designer. There's a limit to the type of work that I might be doing at a certain workplace. Sometimes, if I want to keep my skills up or even just work on certain skills that I haven't worked on in a while, make your own projects to master a skill. I actually found this challenge a couple years ago now. It was this 50-day logo challenge. I can leave a link in the description box if anyone's interested. But basically, it was 50 prompts, one per day over the course of 50 days. And you had to come up with a logo just based on that prompt. Anyways, it was a really good challenge. It challenged me to work pretty quickly as well. My stuff wasn't amazing every day. There were definitely several days that I'm this is garbage, but I completed it. So that made me feel good. And I ended up with a couple portfolio pieces out of it. So definitely create opportunities if they're not there for you. Number 12, university is a scam, particularly undergrad. Master's education, I think, is probably more relevant and more specific to certain fields, but an undergrad degree, like a bachelor's degree, is absolutely useless. However, jobs and workplaces value them for some reason, so I guess it's good to have, but a complete waste of money and time and stress and blood, sweat, and tears. Oh my God, it was a terrible, terrible time. But for some reason, workplaces seem to drool over the fact that I have a bachelor's degree. It's okay. Anyways, like, I'm not trying to brag. It's just like, it's a very weird thing because like I don't value it. I don't think it's very relevant to what I ended up doing in my career. So I don't see the value in it. So I don't really understand why other people do. But anyways, but on that note, number 13, it's okay to go back to school. There's no shame in being one of the oldest people in your class if you're pursuing something that you enjoy or that you want to do. I went back to school. So after I got my bachelor's, I went to community college and I did a 3-year graphic design like diploma program. I mean, I was like older than my classmates by like 3-4 years. So it really wasn't like a huge difference, but I wish I had gone to college first, I think, but I don't know if I would have had certain opportunities if I didn't have a bachelor's degree. Number 14, the world is not black and white. Say it louder for the people in the back. There is so much nuance that gets lost, especially in impassioned internet arguments on social media when you've got like those 10 slides on Instagram with political activist posts. And for a lot of very complicated, nuanced, delicate issues going on, you can't reduce that information to a 10-slide Instagram post, and people who don't have an intimate connection with that issue will just see the post on Instagram, accept it as fact because they don't know any better, and you create a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of stupid internet fights for no reason, and just people don't do their own research. There's too much misinformation out there, and it's honestly very dangerous. Educate yourself on issues, listen to what all sides are saying in those types of situations, even if, one side might be presented as true or right. Just hear out what other people are saying. I don't really want to be more specific than that, other than that I'm not talking about COVID and masking and vaccinations. Wear a mask, get vaccinated. That's not up for discussion. I don't feel comfortable elaborating more on that. But just like there's a lot of issues that have a lot of nuance, and people don't seem to understand what nuance is. And sort of similarly, number 15, everyone brings their own unique perspective based on their life experience. Be a listener and allow all viewpoints to have a voice, particularly when it comes to minority groups. Okay, so kind of what I was saying before. Number 16, that said, there are a lot of foolish and selfish people out there. So if you're doing anything to endanger society, I'm not having it. Like, get vaccinated, wear a mask, please. 17, it's okay not to conform to beauty standards. Just because society or most people follow certain practices or standards, it doesn't mean that you have to force yourself to do something that you're not comfortable doing. It's totally okay to say no to something that you don't feel comfortable doing. Even if you might in the future be okay with it, if you're not okay with it in the moment, then that's okay. You can say no. On that note, your personal, ethical, religious, cultural, etc. beliefs are totally valid as long as they're not harming anyone or yourself. It's hard to be the odd one out, and it really sucks sometimes. I know that from personal experience. I keep kosher and I keep the Jewish Sabbath. That means there are like a lot of restrictions that I have, and when I'm in like a social setting, when other people don't follow the same like rules, it's very awkward. It sucks because often you're left out of things, and it's very isolating. But at the same time, I think it's a very admirable quality to be able to stick to your beliefs, like if you feel very strongly about them. To be able to have something that you believe in and you're passionate about and that you feel strongly about, and just kind of stick to your, like, I guess, personal, like, code. Yeah, I think that shows a lot of, like, inner strength. It's still difficult. It's still, like, sucks to be, like, the only one who, can't go out Friday night because I can't use electricity. I can't, like, drive a car, or I can't eat at the restaurant that everyone's planning to go to. So it's just, I don't bother going because it's just awkward sitting there, like, it's like, I'll have a water and everyone else is having, like, chicken wings. I don't know. It sucks. It really, really sucks. Anyways, moving on. Number 19. This is like, if it's possible for you to do this, live at home as long as you can before you move out, like when possible. You honestly will save so much money on rent and other expenses when you live with your parents. So if it's possible, do it as long as you can, because yeah, things are expensive. Everything's really expensive, especially with the pandemic. Like, prices of everything have just skyrocketed, and it's just, it's expensive to exist. It really is. 20, again, when possible, if possible, pay back your debt as fast as possible to have lower or fewer interest fees. Debt is terrible, and like leases and mortgages and all of that stuff, like, it's just, I hate the idea of like owing money to someone. So try and get out of that hole as fast as you can. If it means, foregoing on some luxuries so that you can pay back your debt sooner, try and do that if you can, because yeah, debt sucks. 21. I know it's really boring and very confusing, but if you can, try and take a financial literacy course, or if that's not possible, or if you're not interested, like ask a friend or a mentor, or even just Google it, stuff. There's a lot of free resources out there, but just learn how things like leases, mortgages, taxes, that kind of stuff work. These are serious, important life skills that they just don't teach you in school, and I don't know why, because that stuff is like shit that you really need in the real world. And especially if you don't come from an environment where you have access to that stuff. Like, there are a lot of people that don't have access to that information, and it's seriously detrimental to them to not have that knowledge. So if you can, there's a lot of free resources out there, as I mentioned, and definitely recommend, understanding how that stuff works. Oh, okay, so I mentioned this earlier, number 22. I don't know if I will ever own my own home. Yeah, and I'm sort of coming to terms with that, sort of slowly starting to accept that. I'm not happy about it. I'm like, honestly, it's something that like makes me really depressed. And I think about it like probably at least once a day. I still look for houses and hope that the real estate market will come down, but it's just a lot of people, a lot of millennials, are looking at all of these people buying $1 million, $2 million, $3 million houses. And it's just like, how? And every other day I see local news media talking about, oh, this millennial bought a house and they, with their combined salary of $200,000 and they do this for a living, and like, oh, isn't this great? Or every other day an article saying, oh, millennials won't be able to buy a house and look at the prices of houses. Stop. Like, I see it everywhere and I can't escape it. And every time I see a for sale sign or a sold sign on a house that a couple years ago I should have been able to afford, if prices kind of kept more or less this kind of trajectory instead of the prices going astronomically ridiculous. And it's frustrating because a few years ago, like, I was thinking, okay, like, if I save up some money and whatever, should be okay, should be able to afford it. And now it's just out of reach. So yeah, I might be renting forever. And when you grow up in an environment where home ownership is kind of the norm for a lot of people, and then all of a sudden it's not, it's kind of a huge adjustment. Okay, 23. Not relevant to COVID. If you can, travel. Take advantage of travel, live, study abroad opportunities if they're available to you. I didn't when I was in school, mostly because there would be a lot of issues with finding kosher food. I was actually supposed to teach English in Japan for a year, and there were a whole host of issues relating to that. Number one, the plane for the program that I was supposed to go on was going to leave on a Saturday, which is my Sabbath, and I can't use electricity. I can't travel on that day. I asked if there was any way to like change the flight, or like even just if I could come separate from the group. And they were like, sure, but you have to pay for your own ticket, whereas the flight would have been free with this program. And it's just like, okay. And I would have been stationed in a city where there would be no kosher food. There would be no Jews, so there would be no And it would be like a very rural town where the people there likely would not really understand Jewish practices, and it would be very difficult to try and explain that I'd have to leave early on Fridays before sundown because our Sabbath starts at sundown, and at that point, I won't be able to drive or use electricity, write, anything like that. It would just be a lot to explain. I actually reached out to a Jewish community in, I think, Tokyo before I was sort of thinking about going, or before I made my decision about whether I was going to go or not. And I asked is it possible, if I was stationed in a rural area, is it possible to keep kosher? And they were like, well, come here and we'll make it work for you. I'm like, I need a more definite answer, yes or no. I can't just fuck off to Japan for a year and then figure it out. And in hindsight, maybe I should have, but at the same time, I feel like it would have been incredibly socially difficult. I think I probably would have been able to find food, even if I would have become vegan for a year. I think more the Sabbath stuff, that would have been a lot more difficult, but it's definitely one of my major regrets that I never did, and that I just haven't even made it to Japan. Yeah, so if you can, I definitely recommend it. 24, almost done. Easier said than done, but the sooner you cut toxic people out of your life, the happier you will be. I'm going to repeat that. The sooner you cut toxic people out of your life, the happier you will be. Trust me on that one. 25, your body is the shape or body type that it is. Nothing will change that. Learn to embrace it and accept that. If you can't love your body, at least accept that this is my body type. It's not going to change. Even if I lose or gain weight, I'm still going to have this body type. And a thing that I found helps me is to find clothes or cuts of clothing that flatter my body type, because that definitely really adds to your confidence. Also, if you have a particular favorite color, I find wearing my favorite color also helps with my confidence, or if there's a particular print that you really like, that can help as well. 26, following from that, find a feature on yourself that you can really celebrate. So for me, it's my eyes. I really like my eyes. I personally like to wear a lot of bright and colorful eyeshadow, especially colors that complement my eye color, just to really make them stand out. So yeah, find something that you like about yourself and accentuate it. 27, never be ashamed of the things that you love. If people make you feel bad about your passions or interests, they're not worth it. Their opinion doesn't matter. If it makes you happy, then that's all that matters. 28. It's okay to be wrong, and there's nothing weak in admitting it. Easier said than done. Also something that I am not great at. 29. Be there for your friends when they need you. You don't know how much that can mean to someone who's going through a really tough time. And if you can't provide the support that they need at that time, be open and honest about that and about your boundaries and kind of what you can handle, but never desert your friends. Make them know that you care for them and that you're there for them, maybe not in the way that they need at that time, and communicate those boundaries, but don't outright abandon them, because that's just a shitty thing to do. Kind of related to that, number 30, learn your boundaries and be able to speak up and express when things cross the line for you. I am also not great about this, with sort of my outer circle, with more sort of closer friends and family. I'm better at that. I am a pretty reserved person, so it's hard for me sometimes to talk about really emotional stuff like that, or things that make me very emotional. But yeah, that's a very important one. And I threw in a bonus one because why not? Just for good luck. Number 31. We have a limited time on Earth, so make the most of it, especially in light of COVID just derailing everyone's life. Just try to make the most of time. This is going to get a little morbid, but we don't know how much time we have on Earth. kind of like what I was saying earlier, just, it's kind of cheesy, but you know, carpe diem, like seize the day. Just if there's something that you want to do, don't push it off. Like go for it, do that thing, and you'll thank yourself later. So yeah, those were, I guess, 31 things that I've learned in 30 years. They're all like kind of the same idea. It is late and my battery has died like 1,000 times. Yeah, so that's kind of where I am and going into my birthday. I tried to keep this positive, but I feel like it just got kind of negative. I don't know. It's definitely made me feel a little bit better getting this stuff off my chest. I don't know. I'm going to continue, you know, doing my thing and definitely staying creative. But sometimes it's just hard to stay motivated, and it's hard to stay motivated when you're not getting that positive reinforcement from people. So, and it's just like, especially with COVID, like I've just felt very isolated from people. Like I guess in real life, less so online. I guess I've been more online, so more like connected to people in some ways. But yeah, I guess I'm just trying to find my place on the internet and in life. And I'm still, the things that I mentioned that I learned, I don't know if I necessarily mastered them. Still trying to build my community of people, especially online. Like if you are interested in the type of content and things that I post about, I'd love to just like create a community of like-minded people. So if you're interested in that, subscribe, follow, interact with my content, let me know, because I think that would just be really cool to like I can't be the only one who's like interested in like, you know, glam makeup, but also like anime, but also steampunk, and also like just goth stuff. Like there's got to be other people out there like me. So I'm just trying to, I guess, find like-minded people so we can all hang out and, you know, talk about cool stuff. So yeah, I guess that's the vibe that I've got going into my birthday. Like not really super exciting. I think we're all kind of burned out at this point from COVID. And I don't know, here's to a better year. Here's to success, happiness, following your dreams, I guess, and you know, achieving what you want to achieve, and hopefully things will get better. I don't know. It's kind of a bit of a downer, but if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I don't know. I like tried to be inspirational, and I'm like looking at the list again. I'm just like, oh, this is just really depressing. So hopefully this wasn't too much of a downer. If you like the type of content that I post here, I'm sure normally it's a lot more upbeat and a lot more like cool look focused. So if that's your thing, I'd love it if you could follow me here as well as on my other social media where I post a lot of like cool looks and stuff. And really just please let me know if you enjoy my content. Please comment and interact, and just that lets me know like what you're interested in so that I can continue making that kind of content. That just really helps me out as a creator, and then hopefully one day I can actually, you know, do something with this and maybe turn it into like a side gig or something. If you enjoy the content that I post here, I'd love it if you could subscribe and turn on notifications, and that way you'll get updated every time I post a new video, and I'll see you guys next time.